Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another fantastic episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He is the Tranquil Dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito because he's made of chicken and beef. Everybody, there I go again. He is Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. It's actually about our special guest today, who is a woman who actually wears several hats. She's a ring announcer. She's a commentator. She's a backstage interviewer. She's also a referee. And she's straight from over the pond, jolly old England, a place where I hope to visit one of these days. And I'm going to talk it into existence in the very near future. Everybody, welcome to the show, Lexi. Lexi, how you doing today?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Woo!
No problem.
Finally made it on.
No problem. No problem. You know, when we saw that you were actually, you know, our good friends at VWR had a ring announcer, you know, aside from Emily Taylor, I was like, okay, who is she? Because we actually interview, you know, not just wrestlers, but, you know, managers, referees, you know, and ring announcers as well, too. So we were like, who is that woman? Who is she? We got to have her on the show. And then they told us, you know, who she was. And then you were like, hey. And then we're like, hey.
Yeah, that's how it starts. Starts with a hey.
Yeah. And, you know, here we are today, or tonight, actually.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm really pleased that you asked me on. And also as well that you said it's strange because having announced for like a ring announcer VWR specifically, like I say your name a lot and then here I am. So that's, you know.
Trust me, had we seen you, we would have had you on sooner. But you know, hey, everything happens all in due time, you know.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So how's everything? So you're in Kansas and you're in the treehouse. How did that happen?
I'm on vacation. I don't live in Kansas, although I'd quite like to live in a treehouse. It's kind of really cool. Yeah, I flew in today. I'm on like a little mini vacation, solo vacation, just to kind of like get away for a few days and recharge. So yeah, that's where I am through to like the end of the week. And then I'm flying to New Jersey for a couple of days. And then I'm flying back home to Austin, not back to England. Don't live there. But yeah, back to Austin. That's where I currently reside.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been to Austin before, and the kind of vibe I got was everybody looked like they were like in a rock band. Like everybody had tattoos. You know, all the guys had beards and everything. And I was on, I think it's 8th Street, and 8th Street has like all the bars. And I was actually there for a wrestling event. It was by Anarchy Championship Wrestling. I don't know if they're still in existence, but you know, ACW, I was there for an ACW show. This was like 7 years ago, actually. And I decided that, you know, before I had some time before the show started, let me go ahead and take a walk around, you know, 8th Street. And there were so many bars. I was like, man, this is a bar hopper's dream, man. I'll have to come back here one day and check it.
It's a great city. I don't know if Anarchy are back. I might be misspeaking, but after like COVID and stuff, I don't know if like every promotion in that area came back, so I'm not sure. But Austin as a whole, great city. If anyone has not been, you should go. It's got something for everyone, is what I would say.
So they say that every city has a twin, a foreign twin, or sometimes they even have like 2 other twins that are similar to them. You're from England. What city in England would you say reminds you of
I would say it's kind of a bit of a combination between like Brighton and Leeds, I would say. I mean, there probably are many other places in England. I've not visited everywhere, but Brighton is kind of like weird and quirky, like Austin, but it's not as big like Brighton isn't as big as Austin, so I think more a little bit like Leeds as well, which I used to live in Leeds for a bit. So I think a combination of the two. I refuse to say London because that's all anyone knows about England. So I'm not saying London.
No,
London's too much of a big city to be like Austin.
no. Everybody just doesn't know. I know of Manchester. I know of Leeds.
Oh, okay.
Actually, Leeds is where the British Bulldog came from, Davy Boy Smith,
Hmm. Hmm.
or at least where he was built from. And I also know about well, I said Manchester, London, Sheffield. I have a friend that lives in Bath.
Okay.
You know, he lives in Bath, England too as well. So I know a couple places. As a matter of fact, England is actually on one of my places I want to visit real soon. The first thing I'm probably gonna do after I find the nearest confectionery and get me a big jar of quality street chocolates is check out Trafalgar Square. I heard some people say it's similar to Times Square, and
Hmm.
also I don't know if it's still in existence, but also Piccadilly Circus. See what that's about
Yeah.
as well too.
I mean, that's really just like a big place now in London. I don't know if it's like how it used to be. But there's tons to do. Have you ever heard of Liverpool?
I've heard of Liverpool, yeah.
Okay, that's where I'm originally from.
Okay, wow. Yeah, London's definitely. I actually have an uncle that lives over there too.
Okay.
I'm actually Guyanese, so we were known as British Guiana way back,
Uh-huh.
and we gained independence like 50. I think it's been 50, 56 years ago. Actually, it's been 56 years now, and we've although we were an independent country, we still had certain ways of England for
Yeah.
for a bit. So yeah, certain growing up in Ghana, I learned about certain places in England and
Yeah.
so on. That
Well,
sounds
we just took over everywhere, didn't we? England. So don't need to talk about that.
yeah. Yeah, that was all in the past. But
Yeah.
yeah, so wow, you are a very busy. I'm surprised you do so many jobs in wrestling. I'm surprised we even were able to get you on the show. I mean, ring announcer, commentator, referee, she's a backstage interviewer. You
Yeah.
know, I saw you in the ring one time. I was like, tell me she's not a wrestler as well too. If she is, that's it.
Well, I did train. I have trained a bit. The reason that I never kind of ended up doing that is because I did so many other things like outside of wrestling, and it was hard to find the time to commit as much to that craft as I would want to. Because if I do anything, one of my big downfalls is like I'm a complete perfectionist, so I have to give like everything 110% as much as possible. And I couldn't quite do that. But you never know. If the right match comes along or someone just rubs me up the wrong way, I might be there.
Awesome. Hey, well, I'll tell you what. If you ever made that in-ring debut, we'll be definitely, happy to have you back on
Oh,
here as a
great.
next time as well too. So we're gonna take a bit of a trip in the past, and I just gotta ask you, how did you become a fan of professional wrestling? What was the pay-per-view or main event that you saw that made you start tuning in afterwards?
I don't know if I can remember, like, I can remember the time that it happened. I don't know if I can tell you like a specific match or pay-per-view, but and I'm giving more of my age away now, but um I was like really obsessed back in like the mid to late 90s into like early 2000s with all the TLC stuff. I was like a huge Hardy Boys fan. I wanted to be Lita really badly. So that was really all around that time. Chris Jericho as well, all of that era. I started watching it with a guy I was dating at the time. And I was a teenager. And I was just like, what is this? This is amazing. I'm completely hooked. And it kind of developed from there. I think the main reason I loved those particular people, especially like the Hardy Boys and Lita, is I was still quite alternative. There was an alternative person inside me dying to get out. And I just loved the way that they like dressed. They're just like, they didn't give a crap kind of attitude and all the high flying stuff as well. That just like blew my mind at the time.
Hey, Lexi, don't feel ashamed of your age. Trust me, I'm touching 40 next year, so I'm up.
I've
I was
surpassed
I
you.
was I was well and alive and a fan of wrestling back in the midnight. As a matter of fact, I started watching in the early '90s, so
Yeah.
don't feel
I
bad.
can't remember if I did. I feel like I did because I remember a lot of like the earlier Attitude era stuff, but I don't know if I watched it like consistently. But that, if anyone ever asks me, that is like the period of time that I can like rubber stamp to say, okay, that's when I definitely like became hooked, on wrestling. And I've fallen off like, periods of time, a little bit, but always still there somewhere.
Cool. So what was it like, you were watching on the Attitude Era. What was it like seeing people like, the British Bulldog, Davy Boy Smith, who was from Leeds, and, William Regal, who was from Blackpool, on there. And then you had Squire David Taylor, who was another guy that was in
Mhm.
W for a brief bit. What was it like seeing, those people that came from England now mainstream for all the world to see, not just England, not just America, but
Yeah.
everywhere, the farthest of Asia to over here in North America? What was it like seeing them get that exposure and
Yeah.
do their thing
I
on the
think, I mean, I absolutely loved it. First of all, I think growing up in England, you're always more exposed to American stuff than like the other way around, like people in America or over to like British stuff. So there's kind of a difference. We're always so used to seeing, like, as I say, the US wrestlers, and that was the more the people that I was interested in. But then to see the people that, you'd seen just on like your local TV. Sometimes like actually take the big stage. I don't think I realized at the time like how big of a deal it was. Like now, working more in the industry, I realized how big of a deal that actually is. So looking back, I think it's amazing. And William Regal is like a hero of mine in many ways. I think was an amazing wrestler. I love that kind of British strong style. And I just think he's absolutely hilarious as well. And I love him on commentary, and all this other stuff that he's done outside of that in terms of like training and managing and mentoring. I think he's a credit to like the business overall, really. I'm kind of gushing now about William Regal, but I love him. He's great. It's like my hero.
The thing that gets me is that he's on like on AEW, how he always greets Excalibur. And
Oh
he's
yeah.
like, "Oh, Excalibur, you lovable source." I'm like,
Yeah, lovely man in the mask. You're looking lovely tonight, man in the mask.
William Regal is. To me, I think he's having fun. He's finally having fun. After years of being in WWE. To me, I think the vibe I'm getting is that he's finally having fun and you know getting to be a bit less restricted.
Yeah, I
For lack
tell you what, I love it. It's strange because I mean, the majority of stuff that I do in wrestling, I'm talking, and I sometimes forget how I talk and the fact that I'm British and have an accent, which is the stupidest thing I've ever said. But it's because everyone around me is American, so I kind of forget that I sound different sometimes. And then I hear him and the stuff that he comes out with and all the little like slang terms that I've kind of forgotten about from living in America. And I absolutely love it. And I will say that sometimes I should give credit to William Regal. It reminds me of things that I can say, like little nuances and British things that I try and then get in there because I think they're hilarious.
That's kind of like us. That's kind of like us Guyanese. Like we're unique. Like I could say things in English, but people wouldn't understand. But if somebody from like Jamaica were to hear it or from Trinidad, they would probably get it because we're pretty much the same like culture, almost same culture. And
Mm-hmm.
did you just say that? Did you say that on there? Wow, like he's lucky. Like they don't understand it, but yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing just being able to do that and possibly get away with it. So
Yeah, definitely that.
yeah. So did you ever like before you came over to America, did you ever like check out the indie scene over there? Because I know you guys have like a rich scene over there. I mean, you have um like just so many, and then of course you have the Knight family who are one
Mm-hmm.
of most prominent wrestling families over there. You have legends like the Dynamite Kid and geez, I forgot his daughter wrestles in WWE. She wrestles in NXT UK, and he was a trainer there. I forgot what his name was. Rob, you remember? Was it? I it's probably gonna come back to me. But his
He'll
daughter,
come to you. You'll just randomly like shout it out in the middle of something. And
yeah,
I'm terrible with names regardless, so it's no good asking me.
yeah, he was training in NXT UK. And if anybody there's listening and watching, by all means, feel free to put in the comments section. But he was wrestling. He was training in the UK, and then he was training in NXT UK, and then his daughter got hired, and she ended up wrestling for NXT UK as well.
Hmm.
And she had just turned heel, but I forgot where it's probably gonna come right back to me. But that man that was training there is also a legend as well too.
Hmm.
Yeah, did you ever get to like go to any of the shows over there?
I didn't. I'm so ashamed to say that like the shows I went to were like WWE. Like whenever they came to like to the UK, that's what I did. Often the house shows. So when they came over to England and they'd say record like Raw and SmackDown, they'd also come over for like a chunk of time and so would record like house shows in between. And I liked going to those because you tended to get more of the content because they wouldn't be breaking for TV. So you tended to get like more and different matches. I have been to some progress shows as well, but that was kind of like later on. And I actually went back. The last time I was back in England was before COVID in 2019, and I went to a progress show then. But that's probably the last time over there.
Okay. Yeah, I heard Progress is another big promotion over there. I
Yeah,
think
I really liked them. It's different. It's difficult because I think now having worked more in like the independent scene, I kind of wish I could go back and go and see a lot of like the independents in England because I've only been working in pro wrestling since I've been over here in America.
okay. Wow. Yeah, so now you're over here in America, you're doing your thing with VWR and Mission Pro Wrestling and all
Mhm.
that. Um, how did you like end up like becoming part of the wrestling industry as those four titles that the
Yeah,
referee announcer, like how did it all happen for you?
yeah, it's kind of like a little on accident and then it kind of snowballed. So I'd started training. I have a few friends who work in pro wrestling around like Louisiana, and they were just like, "Hey, you want to come and train with us?" And I used to go and train with them before shows around like the South, so Louisiana, like Mississippi, sometimes into Pensacola in Florida. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a go. I never even thought of doing it myself, even though I've like always watched and loved wrestling. I don't know, I never like put myself in that situation. I've always been doing other things that have taken my time, like roller derby. So then I was like, okay. So I went along and I was training, and then obviously COVID hit. So it became difficult to train before shows because there weren't any. So that kind of stopped that. And I ended up joining Elevate out of New Orleans in Louisiana when they started back up. And so again, I trained a bit. But time wise, I find it difficult with other things that I was doing as well because I've always got my finger in like multiple pies. And I started reffing some of like the matches there like during training, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And so I kind of transitioned into refereeing, and that was like the first I guess role that I formally had in pro wrestling. But I've not actually been doing that long, I think. And I know it's COVID years make everything like a little more difficult, but I think the first time I refed was it would have been in the summer last year, like when shows started happening again. I refed a show last year. And then I was refing regularly around like Louisiana, and then obviously I started working for VWR and Mission Pro, and I worked for Pro Wrestling 225 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana as well. And then I don't know, people realize that I talk the way I talk, and then they're like, "Oh, you want to ring announce?" I think it's something about the accent. I don't know. And so I'm pretty good at that. And so I can stand then in front and talk the way I talk, and I absolutely love it. But I do love reffing as well. I love all of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all of it. So to answer your question, I waffled on then. I kind of fell into it on accident after starting training, and then moved into reffing, and then ring announcing, commentary, backstage interviews. I have like my own little show that I do for Pro Wrestling 225, called Windsor's Court, where I interview people like, backstage and before the shows and things like that. Bit of a play on, the British royalty there. So yeah, that's how I started. It feels like I've been doing it a lot longer. Now I say it was last year. I'm like, really? I had to think about that.
That's awesome. Wow, pro wrestling. So you're just all over Texas and Louisiana, man. You're like, yeah,
Yeah.
elevate. Shout out to Brittany over there, who actually is the owner for Elevate Pro Wrestling, and then you also
Yeah.
you up a Pro Wrestling 225. So you're pretty busy, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
It's just, and it's, I think once you kind of get on that circuit and people see you and recognize you and notice you, like it, between that and roller derby, like it fills my time, and I love it. I love to be busy. And I love to be busy doing things that I'm like passionate about as well. Like I enjoy it so much. I absolutely love it.
So out of which of the four would you say you actually enjoy? Would like
The roles? I don't know. I would have said reffing. I do really enjoy ring announcing though now, and I think that's just because my confidence as a ring announcer has grown, and also because I put more of my personality and who I am into it, rather than just like I used to always do that in my reffing. And I think now I do that in my ring announcing as well. I don't just, I want my personality to come across as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm like, the wrestlers are the star of the show, but I am there for a reason as well. And I like that to come across when I ring announce. So I don't know. Catch me on a different day and I'd say one or the other. It's a tie up between the two.
well, I tell you what, you're doing a pretty great job of each of them, and I just gotta say, keep it up. It's
Yeah.
it's I know it's not easy and whatnot, so I would
Yeah,
definitely
I've mainly been ring announcing lately. But I've got a show coming up in next month in November, in Austin, Texas, Uncanny Promotions. Sunny Kiss is going to be there and everything. And I'm reffing that, so I'm super excited to put my stripes back on again for that.
Oh, that's cool. And hopefully, you get to, branch out more outside of Texas and Louisiana. You get to go to California, or you get to go back east to, maybe Florida, or maybe even up here in the
Mhm.
north. I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. I love to travel. So, as you can tell by the fact that I'm currently sat in a treehouse in Kansas, so I'd love to kind of combine those two things. That would be great. I will go anywhere and everywhere, see more of the world and the country, and do something I love at the same time. That's a dream. Maybe
Yeah.
even England. I'm going back to England at the end of the year. So, I got to hit up my UK peeps and get some connections over there.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, maybe you could go back home to England and, ref a match or two, or, you know,
Yeah, that would
on
be great to do. Just to kind of tick that box, to say, hey, I came from here. I started my career in the US, but now I've, come back over the pond, and this is what I can do. Yeah, that would be amazing.
that's awesome. I definitely hope that happens for you. I definitely hope you get to go back and, show them what you got and everything, and so on. Maybe I'll see you on WAW or even Progress,
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
part in the polls and whatnot. So, in terms of the ring announcing, what are I don't know how to put this. What are some pointers you would give somebody that wanted to ring announce? Because we've had people that refed on here before, and they've
Yeah.
given the pointers. I mean, heck, even Rob Bass here is actually a referee as well too,
Hmm.
on CW. in his home state. But what advice would you give somebody that wanted to do the other three, like either ring announce or be a backstage interviewer or be a commentator?
Um, I think the first thing, first and foremost, is kind of your voice. I know that sounds like really basic, but like your voice projection, I can't even speak, and your energy as well. That's like a huge thing. Like you can't, talk really quietly, and you've got to get everyone, around that ring, whether there's 5 people, 50 people, or 500 people. It doesn't matter. You treat the crowd exactly the same, and you have to get them hyped up for the show. Get them on board with what's going on. I think that's like one of the key things as well. So being like really outgoing, positive, hyping them up as much as possible. And work with the wrestlers as well. You're there to make them shine as well, in a sense, in terms of like how you're introducing them, how it's going to work with their entrance, things like that. So work with them and work with the promotion in terms of like what they like as well. But I would also say, make yourself stand out in a way, not again overshadowing anyone else, but let your own personality come across. I think when people see that, they engage with you a lot more as well. So I think that's a big thing. For me, it's been like a work in progress. When I look back at like the first show that I ring announced to like now, I'm sure anyone says that about anything they do, but I was like, oh my God, I was so green. I can't believe it. And now, I just have so much more confidence in that. So just like keep practice is a big thing as well. Don't be afraid to like, and I have cards, like my memory is appalling. Like I'm not one of those people that can remember everything. So, have your cards if you need to, as well. Obviously remember to look at the hard cam and everything. So try not to read from what's in front of you. But practice as well, whether you need to do that in front of your cats, in front of your pets, in front of whomever, until you can get that confidence back up 100%.
Awesome. So for those of you listening, you just got some advice from somebody who's been doing it for a while now. Anything else, you probably got to hit up her Cash App or PayPal. So you got a little something from her. So yeah. So now you've done the VWR show. You've done Mission Pro Wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
which are two big promotions in my opinion in Texas. Um, what's next? Like what's do you have any new promotions coming up that you're gonna be working for or you want to work for or
Yeah, it's strange that you say that, because honestly, when I started this, I didn't even dream that like I would work for Mission Pro. And that's just like that's been a huge thing for me. Um, so I'm like extremely grateful and proud, to be part of that, and for every promotion, that I work for as well. Um, I would like to work more in Texas. It's difficult in Texas. There's a lot of promotions and a lot of refs and a lot of ring announcers as well. So it's very hard sometimes to like break into an area that you've just moved to, when there's already like established people there. But I would like to do that. That is one thing I would like to do. And I mean, we hit on the other thing as well. I would like to travel more with this. I would like to get out of state. And when I say out of state, I mean like out of state. Like I've done a lot around the South, in terms of like Mississippi, Texas, Louisiana. I've been up into Oklahoma. But I want to like get much further out and just see a bit more and work at the same time. So I don't know if I have any like names in mind. I probably need to like silently research and send some feelers out. I'm not often the best, I'll openly admit this, at kind of promoting myself. I think it's the British in me that I'm quite kind of like, you wouldn't think I'm reserved, but I am in that way, in terms of like promoting myself. So I think I need to just bite the bullet and do that a little bit better. That's my downfall.
yeah, well honestly I hope you get to like you get to work more in Texas and you get to branch out and everything. Because I don't know if you probably know this by now, but every state, every town has a difference. Um, the fans are different in every town, and
Yeah.
I witnessed that myself. You know, being in getting to see wrestling here in New York, and then Florida, and then Texas, and even over in Los Angeles, I was fortunate to see wrestling over there too, and the crowds are different. The fandom is there, but the crowds are kind of different. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
we
fortunate, like everywhere that I've worked, the promotions are great. Everyone that I work with in the promotion is amazing and like so welcoming and friendly. And the crowds as well. Again, whether it's 5 people or 50 people or 100, 200, however many, they're always like really engaged and engaging, which is amazing.
awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple of questions for you. He's probably gonna ask you about the refereeing thing and everything.
Hmm.
And I'm just a heads up, if you're into Marvel and Star Wars, that's gonna be a long conversation. So
Okay. Yes, I
Rob,
am. I have
Rob, go
both
ahead.
Marvel and Star Wars tattoos.
Oh, you do? Oh man, I did see you have like a lot of tattoos and stuff. It's like, man, I
Yeah.
only got two. I got my arms tattooed up, but yeah, you. I wish I had as many as you. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah. My bank
man,
account doesn't, but that's a different story.
that's right. People ask me like, what's that tattoo mean? It means I had like $150 and 3 hours to kill. That's what it means to
Yeah.
me. To me.
Yeah.
So how was your day today? Spending it in a treehouse. Other than treehouse.
It's great.
Anything wild happen? Anything
Not
crazy?
yet.
Just a normal
My
day.
biggest accomplishment is finding it, because it's like quite remote where I am at the moment. I've been traveling like a lot of the day. I only got in maybe like a couple of hours ago. So I'm literally just gonna chill for the night. There's a hot tub, so I'm gonna get in the hot tub and read my
Okay.
book, drink some wine. That's my evening. Very excited.
Uh, Yeah, you just made me jealous. I mean, man, it's all like, we got the remnants of that hurricane that hit Florida. Over here it's 50 degrees,
Uh,
rain is horrible. It's like, oh man, I got
so where
hot
are you
tub, just
guys?
hanging out. I'm in
Remy said,
Delaware. Remy's in New York.
okay. Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
over that way. Like I fly over there on Friday into New Jersey. I fly into Newark for a couple of days. So hopefully it's kind of warmed up a bit by then because I don't know if I've packed the best clothing. If not, I have one jacket with me. So,
Yeah, it should be like around the 70s,
oh, that's
70,
okay.
75-ish. You should be good.
That's fine then.
Oh yeah, 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 you're good to go. You're good to go. So yeah, you were talking about like ring announcing and stuff and all, and
Mhm.
I do that too. Yeah, because I was happy when I heard I had the interview. Yeah, we were talking with you because you're somebody like me, a utility person. I do everything also.
Yeah.
I've done backstage
Jack of
announcing.
all trades.
Yeah, I've done security. Reffing and ring announcing. And now, do you? You said you do notes and stuff. Now, do you keep the notes? For your next show or whatever. So just in case you run into a wrestler you previously
Yeah.
announced, you're like, hey, everything's synced. Boo, boo, boo.
Yeah, that's actually a good tip. I should have said that when Remy asked me, but yes, I do that now. I didn't necessarily at the start, but that's because I just did like one show. So I wasn't
Mhm.
like a regular ring announcer. Now I am. I keep all my notes. I tried doing it electronically, but I don't like that as much. So I tend to like
Yeah.
keep snapshots of stuff. But I still use like I still like to old school, like write the notes out on a card, but I do keep them. It makes my life easier and also the wrestlers' life easier as well. So I'm not having to go up to them for like the 15th time and like, be
Hmm.
like, hey, what do you need me to say? Although I will say
Yeah.
that I do check with them in case anything's changed. I'm like, hey, this
Hmm.
is what I've got. Or has anything changed? Otherwise, I'm going with the old info. Because sometimes, they might want to change, the tag before their name or something like
Hmm.
that, whatever that might be.
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I write it down old school. The ring announcer for CCW, she does it all on her phone and all. She'll walk right out there, on her phone, coming to the ring, blah 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 blah. I'm like, I can't do that. I like pen and paper, just
Yeah. I
I don't
tried
know what
that.
it is.
I tried that on my phone for like a show or two, but it kept moving around and like because I'd have it in order, and then if my phone turned as I was like, because when I'm getting in the ring, I'm probably wearing like inappropriately high heels as well, so I'm trying to like get in under the rope, and then it's moved on my phone, and then I've got to scroll again, and
Yeah,
it wasn't working for me. It just was a bit awkward, so I went back to pen and paper.
that's right. Now, when you're up there doing ring announcing, do you ever mess with like the referee or over, like wrestlers coming in or something? Do you ever mess with them talking like that?
I do a little bit. I normally end up like chatting to the refs more than anything else, and just like jibber jabbering about stuff. The wrestlers sometimes mess with me. I've had there was one show that I was doing that was it's called Bases Loaded. So one thing I try and do, and this is just me because I'm just a nerd in that way, I like doing like costuming and cosplay. So if there's like a slight theme for a show, I'll try and make my outfit not like costumey, but kind of like semi-related to it. So there was a show called Bases Loaded, and I had like a little skirt on, and it was like almost like a baseball shirt, and then I had like a cap on backwards, and one of the wrestlers came up and stole my hat. Which was great because then I had hat hair underneath, so I was absolutely mortified the entire time.
Oh.
So I often get messed with in that way, but I don't interfere with them.
Now, when you've announced or whatever, have you ever had any hecklers or anything? Any people like like speak up or anything like that?
No, I've had it when I'm reffing a lot, but not when I'm ring
Okay.
announcing. I get the usual, the following contest is scheduled for one fall, and the crowd,
Wonderful.
one fall, two fall, and just they repeat things back. But other than that, no, everyone's been super nice, I would say. Yeah. Definitely as a
Now,
ref though.
Scott Bruce asks, who are your favorite people to announce? Do you have anybody specific you like to announce?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I wish I'd have thought of that in advance because I hate thinking on the spot about something because I'm trying to think of something that's maybe memorable that's happened that I've really enjoyed doing. I do like announcing Holiday because she's always fun, and I'm trying to remember now, but this is why I need cards. The weight of 666 dead souls or something like that. I like it when it's something like a little bit different that I have to announce. That's not just your standard like run of the mill. Oh, okay. I have to give a shout out now. Okay, to as well as Holiday. From Overboy's fame from Pro Wrestling 225, Jordan Jar, who likes me to announce him as from DeBerry and weighing in at 3 bags of sticky rice, which is another one of my favorite ones. And when I had to do him and Christian Blake as the Overboys, I can't remember what it was, but it was something absolutely hilarious. And I was like cracking up when I was saying it. It was really funny. It got like a good pop from everybody. I wish I could remember what it was off the top of my head.
That's funny.
I've just seen Scott's comment come up. Scott, you would totally be my favorite if I got to announce you, but you always just go and talk first anyway. So, I can't come in and announce you coming in. So sorry about that.
Oh man, yeah. Now I haven't had people heckle me and stuff, but we did a birthday show or whatever, and we didn't have any microphones or anything, so I grabbed like a screwdriver and I'm using that as a prop, and I'm screaming, coming to the ring, I'm like that, and one of my trainers, Sean Carlson, his weight is like and weighing in at like 26 bales of hay and a can of dip. He's a cowboy, da da da. Well, because I'm my country accent or whatever, and I'm yelling there or whatever. People were like, "Did you say a can of dick or did you say dip?" I was like, "Oh no, that's dip." And they're like, "Well, I guess I got to change that."
You have to be careful sometimes. Like I always ask people, like, again, because I'm from England, sometimes people will say something and it might be like a town that they're from or their name, and I'm like, can you just tell me how you pronounce that again? And I literally write it like phonetically next to it, because I know that in like an hour's time, I'm going to look at it and have no idea how to pronounce it. And then I feel terrible. But I also then feel that I've got a slight get out clause that I'll just blame the fact that I'm British and I'll get away with it. So it'll be fine.
That's right. I'm the same way. I'll do that too. You know, I'll pronounce it. You know, like this is how I think it's pronounced. You know, it's spelled or whatever. Because literally, I will walk through that curtain and forget everything they tell me or whatever. You know, I'm like, oh man. You know, it's like one of them things. I'm like, oh man, I'm like a goldfish.
Yeah. I think that comes with like confidence though, in terms of like rolling with any mistakes that you make. Like at the beginning, if I'd have even like said like one word wrong, I'd have been like absolutely mortified. And now I would just like, I don't know, I would just roll with it and kind of not play it off, but like I'd be able to carry it, I guess, and everything would still run smoothly afterwards.
Oh yeah. I know what you're saying with that. Yeah, I don't mind going out there, you know, whatever, making a mistake. I'm just like, all right, whatever, you know. I remember I said banging one time. This, you know, show is going to be banging. I remember the little kid, you know, kids, teenagers, and all that. I remember, did he say banging? What banging? This is going to be a banging show, you know. And they're like banging. I'm
I
like, hey,
see.
I'm 40. It's like I'm 40. I don't know all the slang, you know.
I sincerely don't mean to interrupt, Scott. Do you want us? Is it okay if I post what you just put there, or no? Let me know, because I know that's something that's. Let me know. Just say yeah or nay, and yeah. Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead. My
That's all
apologies.
good. Now, I wanted to ask you about commentary and stuff. That's the one
Mhm,
thing I'm kind of scared of doing, you know, like, you know, you got to be,
mhm.
you know, because, yeah, like talking like that, trying to be free, you know, I might slip up and say, you know, like a couple cuss words, you know, an F bomb or an S word
Oh,
might come out and stuff, you
yeah,
know, I might be like, you know, like
that's
somebody does
my
an
fear.
awesome move. I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's that's like totally my fear as well, because in my private life I probably curse like a sailor. Um, commentary I think is the hardest like job like that, I would say. And I wouldn't ever dare do commentary on my own. I don't feel that I'm like, you know,
Mhm.
good enough to do that or up to par with that. But I work with two great guys at Pro Wrestling 225, Landon Corbin and Spencer Hunt, who do the Last Match Standing podcast. If you've ever listened to that, if not, everyone go check that out as well. Plug to those two. And they are like amazing on commentary. And I've done it a few times, like the whole show, but now I'm working as the primary ring announcer for Pro Wrestling 225. I'll ring announce the show and then I'll come and join them on commentary for the last match. And I kind of think of myself, this is why I love and try and emanate William Regal as much as possible. You know, they're calling a lot more of like the play-by-play stuff. And I'm much more of like, you know, the color commentator that will add things in, especially about maybe like interviews that I've done
Mhm.
leading up to the shows, just to add like background to, you know, to what's going on with, you know, between the wrestlers and feuds and things like that. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Now I got like, you know, just well, another one more wrestling question or whatever, and then there's a couple other things I want to ask you about. 'Cause you have like such an interesting, like, I love roller derby and,
Yeah.
you know, the cosplay stuff and all that good stuff, man. So I'm definitely going to ask about that though. But I do want to ask about your WrestleMania experience, because I've never been to a WrestleMania, and I always feel left out because Remy and our other co-host Kathy, you know, she had stuff to do today. You know, she couldn't make it. They've been to WrestleMania, and I've never
Yeah.
been. You know, but it's coming to Philly and stuff, and I'm like, I think I might go to it. I might save up some money and all. So I looked at ticket prices, like, I've never paid that much for a ticket, but you know, like, yeah, it's an
Yeah.
experience. You know, it's a 2 day thing, so I was like, you know what? So what was it? You know, how was it? Your experience, was it awesome? You
Yeah.
know, did you everything you
It's the
dreamed of?
it's the first one I've ever been to, and I'm probably going to get like lambasted for this now, but it's not my favorite pay-per-view. Out of like all the WWE ones, I'm actually like a big Royal Rumble fan. That's like my favorite
Hmm.
like pay-per-view of the, you know, of the yearly calendar. But it was coming to Dallas, and I was like, well, I've never done it. I want to go and experience it. I absolutely loved it. I don't think I would go again unless it was like the card. I was like, I have to see, I have to see who's on this card. And, this is just me as a wrestling fan now. I'd probably be much more interested now in WWE and the pay-per-views, with Triple H now behind the helm and everything. I'm sure other people may agree with me, but that, speaks much more to me in terms of like, the stories and the feuds and what's going on between people and the wrestlers that they have. But I would definitely go. I had a great weekend. We got to go and see, oh God, this is where my memory is absolutely terrible. Busted Open did like a live thing there at, in Dallas, like the day before. So we got to go and see that, and they did like a live roasting and like, took questions and things. And then the whole spectacle, like regardless of the matches that they had, the whole spectacle of WrestleMania is something to see. Like even just like the countdown and then like the visuals and the fireworks, like I had goosebumps just from that. So it's an experience, and I'm 100% glad that I did it. But I would only go again to that pay-per-view if it was like a card that I definitely wanted to see. I want to try and do Royal Rumble next year though, because it's coming to San Antonio. That's like a definite for me.
Yeah, Royal Rumble's probably my favorite one too. That I like King of the Ring also. There's like my favorites. I like them. Yeah. But I'm definitely trying to check out that WrestleMania. I want to see. Plus this around here. I was like, hopefully I can get on maybe a ref or ring announcing gig on some card around here or something. Everybody putting on a show. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely.
Now I do gotta say, when I was doing a little research and stuff, I did get to see roller derby stuff, and you mentioned it before. Now, how did you get into roller derby and stuff? Because I think that roller derby is awesome. It used to come on TV around here and stuff, and I would watch it. I mean, we have local stuff here, and I was like, man, y'all just tear each other up and all. It's like, man, I don't know how y'all don't walk around every week, breaking an arm, fingers and stuff. And I'm like, woo!
Oh, I lost you guys a bit then, just for like a few seconds. So if you ask me anything, I'm so sorry. Could you repeat it?
Okay, yeah, I was just asking you about, how did you get into roller derby and stuff? Because y'all go hard in that. I used to watch it all the time when it was on TV, and I'm like, I'm surprised y'all don't have like, broken hands and fingers and arms and stuff all the time. I'm like, oh man.
Funnily enough, like touch wood, I am sat in a tree house, so I can touch lots of wood right now. I have never broken anything or like injured myself in roller derby. I've done it doing other things like, walking downstairs and things like that, but never actually playing sport. So I'm very thankful for that. That was an accident as well. I don't know how I end up doing all these things just like by accident, but I did. This was when I lived back in England, because I've been doing roller derby 10 years now. This will be my 10th year, including COVID years. And I was just walking past like a sports centre where I used to live in Halifax, which is not far from Leeds, Remy, if you know Halifax. And there was just like a big banner that was advertising the roller derby team. And I was like, oh, I think I'll go try that. And so I just went to a practice and tried it, and I've never looked back. I'd never skated before either, so I had to like learn how to skate. But thankfully, I picked it up like very quickly, and not to like pat myself on the back too much, but I'm very good. So it was very natural for me to like learn to skate and then play roller derby as well. And if no one's tried it or played it or watched it, it's like the best sport ever. I love it.
Yes, it's awesome. Hey, I was going to ask you if you know how to skate beforehand, because skating is hard for me. The last time I was skating, I was hanging on the wall, at the skating room, like, yeah, I'm good.
No, I didn't. I don't know. It just like sometimes I struggle to like walk in a straight line, but apparently on like 8 wheels, I'm totally fine. So
wow.
There we go.
Hey, more power to you. That's awesome, because I'm like the same way. I can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time sometimes, It's like, trying to rub my belly, pat my head. Oh, man, I might start a fire or something. Yeah, no. Now, I do got to ask, you do a lot of cosplay stuff and all, and I'm always jealous of people who do cosplay because y'all have that creativity and stuff that I do not have at all, And it's like, what is your favorite thing to cosplay or person to cosplay as? Because I did see recently you were a witch. I don't know if that was just for Halloween. I seen you did, you were like Tomb Raider, you were Laura Croft and all that good stuff. That was awesome,
Yeah.
So, like, who's your
I've
favorite?
done lots actually. Trying to think what my favorite one is because I try and not do the same one twice as well. Like
Mhm.
that's just me. Which is probably why I have no money as well. But I like to like do lots of like to do lots of different things and try not to like I will never wear the same costume twice for Halloween. That's like a big thing for me. Oh gosh, I did Pennywise for Halloween once, and that was
Ooh.
like that was terrifying. I don't even like clowns, which is hilarious because I used to work in a haunted house as well. But my Pennywise was pretty good. God, what else have I done that I really liked? Oh, I did actually a couple of my favorite ones, and I did this over when everything like went into lockdown with quarantine with COVID and stuff. I got like super bored. And so I started just like dressing up at home and like posting it on Facebook and doing like different outfits, like pretty much every day. Not all like cosplay ones, some of it was just like regular clothes. Um, but my favorite ones that I did were I did Tank Girl,
Okay.
which was like epic. And I did Cruella Deville as well. And
Mm.
instead of a Dalmatian, I have three cats. And one
Mhm,
of them, Leonidas, he's like a fluffy Himalayan cat.
mhm.
And I got like a little like sweater for him to wear, like a dog sweater, and I like painted it with like a Dalmatian coat on it, and I made him wear it, so he was like my little Dalmatian. So I think those
That's awesome.
two are probably like my favorite that I've done. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But
yeah. If I did that, I'd probably make my dogs do that too. Like, hold on, you gotta wear this little costume or whatever. They probably like bite me. They're like, no, stop it. We're gonna hide.
I always get my cats costumes for Halloween. Like I've not started my costumes this year yet, but they have theirs already. Like they're
That's
sorted.
right. Okay, there you go. I was gonna
Priority.
ask, about Halloween if you have anything ready for Halloween, costume ready and all that yet. But
I've
yeah,
not got
okay.
it ready. I've got it ready in my head. I've not like physically got it
Mm,
ready.
gotcha.
But I'll probably be doing like a few like just posting to the internet random cosplays between now and then as well, just because I love dressing up and being different
Mhm.
people, putting on wigs and not looking like me and doing different makeup and costumes and stuff. I don't know. I love being creative with it and seeing what I can come up with. It's a lot of fun.
Now, I did see you had a shirt that you were wearing on your Instagram post or whatever, and I need to get that shirt. It's the Hellfire Club from Stranger Things.
Oh,
The little baseball thing. I'm like,
I
man,
got
I
that.
seen that. I was like, oh, I am jealous. So I
I
gotta
got
ask,
that from
like,
Amazon.
oh, you did Amazon? Okay, okay,
I
yeah,
think it was
I have to
Amazon.
check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I
that
get so many things from Amazon. I think the driver just like knows me now, and it's kind of it's embarrassing, really. Yeah.
so how do you feel about Stranger Things going in? I think it's the last season, the next one, isn't it?
It is going to be. I mean, it has to be. It's all coming down. I'm a big Stranger Things fan. It's all coming down to Will. I mean, he's like the key. I'm sorry if I'm giving spoilers away from anyone who's not seen it. But he's going to be like the key to everything, I think, leading in to this next season. And I have my thoughts about, like I think a lot of people are going to die. And I have
Hmm.
my thoughts on who may do. I'm still mourning Eddie. Can we just talk about
Oh,
that though?
yes,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah. We can talk about it.
I'm never going to get over it. Never.
Mm-mm.
I
He
will
was
never
awesome.
recover from this.
He was awesome. When he first came on, I was like, oh man, what's he going to like pick on, and bully these boys and stuff and all? But no, he was awesome. Yeah, he went up there and yeah, to go out playing Master of Puppets on
Oh,
Metallica, in the Upside Down, it's like that was awesome. That was like,
that was possibly one of like the best scenes of any TV show ever.
hmm
Yeah, I was literally crying. Like I cried most of that episode. Yeah,
oh
big
yeah,
Stranger
yeah.
Things nerd.
Yes, yes. Oh man, yeah. Some people were saying, they had little theories or whatever that he didn't actually die or whatever. He might still,
I
somehow
think that.
miraculously be alive. I'm like, I
Mm,
don't know. That would be cool if, somehow he did, but.
I mean, you never know. It's TV. They can pretty much bring anybody back if they decide to. So I've seen a
Always
lot of that,
remember,
but I'm trying not to like get my hopes up.
always remember, if you haven't seen a body, there's a chance they can come back. Since we're talking spoilers, I'm sorry for whoever hasn't seen it, but Fear the Walking Dead, Madison Clark apparently was blown up in a stadium, an abandoned stadium, protecting the rest of her crew from the walkers. Now, recently, she came back. She showed up, and she met up with Morgan for the first time. So, if there's no body, if you don't see a body, they could possibly come back.
It's facts.
Mm-hmm.
Or, if you're in the Marvel universe, they just bring people back anyway. It doesn't even matter if you're dead. They just bring you back. Some other reincarnation of you, or like a different timeline, or a multiverse, or something, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I actually just finished Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness the other day or whatever. I tried to watch it, but like things like happened and all, and I never got to finish it or whatever. Oh, that was awesome. Scarlet Witch was she was a badass in that one and stuff.
Yeah.
Like y'all said, you don't see a body, hey, it's like.
What did you think of that?
That one was a good one. I felt it was like a horror movie type deal, like more thriller, a Marvel horror.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I loved it, but it's nothing like I was expecting, nor like the other, Doctor Strange or Marvel movies. It's very much more like has a horror theme to it,
Yeah, it's making me excited for Blade when he comes out. That movie comes out, So I'm like, yeah, I want to see what they do with Blade. Now there is real quick, speaking of vampires and stuff, there's this show on TV I'm watching. It's called What We Do in the Shadows. It's about these vampires.
One of my
and
favorite
stuff.
shows.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah, I love that show also. Like how great is that show? Just like, yeah, can we take a minute to appreciate that show?
That's like, I absolutely love that, and I cosplayed Nadia over quarantine as well. I did cosplay Nadia. That's somewhere buried in my Instagram somewhere. But I alternate with who my favorite character is on that show because it's so good. I can't decide if it's Nandor or Laszlo. Like I alternate between the two of them. I often find myself like impersonating how Nandor speaks in that accent. Just I love it.
I like how Laszlo, whenever he turns to a bat, he's like bat. Every time like bat.
The first time when I came to Austin before I moved here, we went to see the bats. I don't know if you know, but in Austin, like on one of the bridges, you can go and see the bats at night. And like when the sun sets, they like literally all come out. And I was literally stood there going like, bat, human form. It's brilliant. I also am a big fan of, Jackie Daytona, human bartender, regular human bartender.
Yes. And then you got Colin Robinson over there and stuff. I'm like, oh man, that guy's great. Yeah, he just talks to you. He's like the energy vampire. I'm like, that's what those people are and stuff I meet in real life. There we go. That's what they're okay.
Energy vampires. There's a lot of them around.
Now, speaking of all that, are there any new movies and TV shows you're into? Because I'm always trying to branch out, for more, new stuff. I always get caught with those same shows, like comfort shows. I'll just watch over and over again,
I do that. Yeah, my comfort shows that I go to are like Schitt's Creek and
That's a good one.
I love Schitt's Creek, and what else do I go? Parks and Rec. They're like put on in the background comfort shows. I don't know. I need to find a new TV show to watch. I've obviously just finished the terrible thing to now talk about on a podcast, but the Jeffrey Dahmer thing, which was a very good series. So I need to find something new to watch. I don't know what new is coming out. I watched the Great British Baking Show. If you've never watched that, there's a new season on Netflix. It's very quaint English baking. That's a really, really good show. At the moment, I'm binge watching, and this is like an old show, but I've just had it on while I've been like doing crafts and stuff like that in the background. I'm binge watching The Blacklist, which is really good, and I've never watched that before, but that's like a really good show.
Have you ever seen Quantum Leap?
Have I seen what? Sorry?
Quantum Leap.
No, I have not seen Quantum Leap.
I would highly recommend that. It's an 80s
Okay.
show, but
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know it, but I've never watched it.
yeah, I would recommend it. It's really good. And then they're also doing a sequel to it, a sequel series that's only like 3 episodes in right now. So that's a good
Okay.
one. So have you ever seen the Karate Kid movies?
Yes. Are you talking about Cobra Kai?
Yep. I'd also
Yeah,
recommend.
love that. I'm up to date with Cobra Kai.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's a great show. If ever that comes on, I'm a binge watcher. Like if a new season comes on, I like just watch as many episodes as I can and get it done as soon as possible. I don't even know what's like. I can't even remember the last time I went to the movie theater. I can't even remember, and I don't even know what's coming out anytime soon. Oh, I have just started watching the new Star Wars season, Andor, the new series, but I'm only like 1 episode in, so I can't tell you much about that as yet or what my thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I haven't watched Andor yet. I haven't got around to that one yet. I'm watching She-Hulk. I think I'm caught up with
Okay, yeah,
her with
yeah.
She-Hulk. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen her. She's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I've not watched it yet, but I've like seen it advertised and stuff like that. I'm debating whether to watch because I have Prime, whether to watch the the new Lord of the Rings remake thing
Ooh,
because
okay.
I'm like a huge fan of like the original movies. They're like in
Hmm.
my top movies of all time. Um, so I don't know whether I want to watch it or not. But I hear it's very good, especially visually. Like it looks very nice.
Now, have you seen House of the Dragon or anything? Or are you into the Game of Thrones stuff?
I am. I was into Game of Thrones apart from the last season, which is what every person who
Yeah.
was into Game of Thrones will say.
Hmm.
I'm not because I don't have HBO, so I'm waiting for someone to give me their login off until I
Hmm.
can watch it for not paying a lot of money. Otherwise, I
That's
would
right.
be watching it.
Hey, I'm using my mom's, so yeah, don't feel bad. I'm using my mom's login, all that stuff for HBO.
There's just so many subscription services. Like
Hmm.
once you've had like Netflix, Hulu, Disney, Amazon, I'm like, I can't do another one.
Yeah,
It's too
see,
much.
that's why my brother and sister and I, we're cool with each other and we're close and all. So we all, share each other. I have like Netflix and Peacock. My brother has Hulu and I forget what else he has, and Paramount. And my sister has Disney Plus and Amazon. So we all, we
Yeah,
got it all covered. We share each other's stuff, so we're good to go. That's what
that's
we
what
try
we
to do.
need.
Say,
Scott
yeah.
Bruce, message me then.
There you go. Now I do
Just
gotta
need
ask,
to-
for traveling around and stuff, you're a traveler. Do you have any funny travel stories, you could share? Like, is anything crazy happen? Like, have you run into Bigfoot or something wild like that has ever happened? Anything like that?
No, not never run into Bigfoot, but I've only been
Okay.
in the woods for like a few hours, so it's still early
Oh,
days.
okay.
Anything could happen. I did run into Alexander Skarsgård from True Blood fame. That
Oh,
was kind
okay.
of interesting. Look at your Remy's face. Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite actors, man.
It was like totally him. Oh my God. So this was back in 2015, I think it was. So I don't know if True Blood was still on or it like not long finished anyway. I can't remember when that season and when that series ended. But I was in New York. I traveled with a friend of mine. We were going to Vegas to go to RollerCon, which is like a roller derby convention, and we'd gone to New York first for a few days. And she'd already done New York, so we did like totally separate things because I wanted to do like all the tourist things. And I was just walking. I don't even know where I was, but I got off the subway and I was just walking somewhere outdoors. And bearing in mind at this point, like this was in July in New York, so it was like incredibly hot. So I looked like a big hot sweaty mess at this point. And so he walks towards me, and I know it's him. Like I would recognize him anywhere. I was like obsessed with him in True Blood, and he's like walking towards me. And so I have my sunglasses on and I just like tip my sunglasses down. He tips his sunglasses down and we just make eye contact, nod and walk past each other.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
like
cool.
my not even a claim to fame, but my big celebrity like that interaction. So yeah, that was fun when traveling. I've always been
Yeah, I
pretty
might
good
have to.
with traveling in terms of like nothing bad has ever happened, touch wood. So
Yeah, was he the one that played Pennywise?
that was his
In it.
brother.
Okay, okay, okay. I know the last name was Skarsgård. I knew they were
Yeah.
brothers. I couldn't remember which one.
I can't remember his brother's first name now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, I can't remember either.
But
Yeah,
anyway, no, it's his brother that
did a good job as Pennywise though.
plays Pennywise. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't a Tim Curry or anything. Tim Curry's awesome in everything he does. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
like Pennywise. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I love
Now
Tim
we got
Curry.
now we got the Halloween season coming up and all. Or we talked about what you're dressing up as. Now, is there any specific movies you watch? Do you have a favorite like slasher or a favorite genre? You like like a ghost story, a slasher, a thriller type, mystery like that.
Yeah, I like thriller type, like in terms of like my favorite type of like horror Halloween movies. I like thriller type of stuff, like the original Psycho.
Mm,
Is like a huge favorite of mine. I'm not too big on like this. I will watch them, but I'm not like too big on the slasher stuff. I class Alien as a horror movie, even though it's like
yeah,
sci-fi as well. But that shit is scary. So
yeah.
I love that movie as well. In terms of like the classics. Nightmare on Elm Street is probably like my favorite out of all of those, even though as a child it absolutely terrified me and I was scared to go to sleep. But great movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was the same way. Another one when I was a child that really messed me up was Pet Cemetery. Especially when the kid, yeah, when I was a kid, that one messed me up. That one and there's something else. Jaws never really scared me. It made me even more interested in sharks.
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
mean, I still am like scared of sharks, but I don't think Jaws made it any worse for me. I would say
Yeah,
the one that like really messed me up as a kid was It, like the original one with Tim Curry. Like I was scared to go near like drains. And subsequently had a pretty big fear of clowns. As a result of that, it was a terrifying movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Salem's Lot was the other one that used to get me as a kid. Because the
Mhm.
vampires and all that stuff, they like you had to let them in through the window or whatever. I was like, oh man, that freaked me out for some reason.
Yeah, I
Oh
want to
man.
go to Salem.
Mm.
I've not been. I was trying to go back in 2020, but like with again COVID and quarantine and stuff, it just didn't happen. So, but it is on my bucket list of places to go. Is Salem? I think that'd be pretty
My
cool.
sister she tried to talk me into going to one of those museums up there, and Robert the Doll's up there. One of those dolls that's like based on Annabelle or whatever. Is based on
Nope,
something. I was like,
nope.
oh, I'm
I don't
good.
like
That
dolls.
I heard. Yeah, I was like, I heard you look at that thing, and like possesses you, follows you home or something. It was cursed. She's like, oh no, you should be all right. You just can't. I was like, no, I'm
Yeah,
good.
actually, in terms of like travel, one time I stayed in like 'cause you never know what you're gonna get with an Airbnb, and there was one of them fairly recently, and in like a little side room off the bedroom, it just had like dolls everywhere, with like those eyes that follow you, and I was like, nope.
My mom, she bought these Amish dolls or whatever, and the dolls are creepy because they have no eyes, no face, no mouth, no nose or whatever, and she knows that they're creepy and stuff. So whenever I come over there, she always puts them out and stuff. I'm like, I gotta turn it around, like, no, I can't look at that. It's gonna steal my soul.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying. I'd be fine with like vampires, ghosts, whatever, but inanimate things like that come to life, absolutely not. Terrifies me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, you're talking to somebody who has never, said Bloody Mary or Candyman or something in a mirror, ever in his life, more than likely something ain't gonna happen, but just in case, just in case, I don't want to be that one person like that idiot did that, why would he do that? He should have knew
Yeah.
better. Now, before I
I feel
pass
like
it on
I'm gonna
back
have
to,
to do that. Oh, I'm sorry.
oh man, oh yeah, yeah, we'll do it off camera, like if you say Beetlejuice or something, because I don't need Beetlejuice around here causing all kind of shenanigans or whatever, there I am. Step outside and I got them sand monsters. So now, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, I want to say thank you for, coming on the podcast, chatting with us about everything. I had an awesome time, and I wish you nothing but the best. All the positive things that
Yeah.
happen to you, and I hope you have fun at the treehouse and your travels and all that good stuff.
Thank you so much. It's been great to talk to you both. I love just chatting about things, especially, the things that I am passionate about and I enjoy. And for people who, have the same interests and things like that, that's a lot of fun. I really do enjoy that.
Lexi, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule, to be on our show. We really and truly appreciate it. We know you're a woman that wears many hats, and it means a lot that you took time out to do this for us. Um, Before we actually, shut this show down, unfortunately, our other co-host Kathy, couldn't be here tonight. She has some errands. I told her she can actually hop on whenever because I know that
Yeah.
she's seen you more than Rob and I have. She actually goes to VWR a lot. So
Yeah.
hopefully, next time she'll be on here. But before we shut the show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find a way in appearances, when they want to purchase, Lexi merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Sure, yeah. Instagram or Twitter is like my best. I'm not the best at like posting on Twitter. Sometimes I forget I have a Twitter account and then I'll just like splurge a load of stuff on there in one go. But my handle on Instagram and Twitter is the same and it's at Dress for Lex. So DRESSFORLEX. And that's the easiest way to like follow what I'm doing. I basically post a lot of like cosplay stuff and like where I'm working wrestling wise, what I'm wearing, where I'm traveling to. So if you like to see lots of different clothes and people traveling and costuming, then I am the person to follow. And
Awesome.
food and cats, always my cats as well. So yeah, you can find me on there. Welcome.
Food. Now you're speaking now you're speaking like one of my languages because I also like to follow like fellow foodies that like to show new places. I just followed this one guy on Instagram, and I just went to the restaurant today. He recommended a little, restaurant like a fast food restaurant joint where you can get a great serving of roast pork over rice for like less than $8.
Mhm.
And I actually went there, and it was true. I paid $7.50 for a large serving of roast pork over rice with some cabbage. It was from a Chinese restaurant, and I was like, wow, this is see stuff like this I like, So yeah, I like stuff like that as well too.
Well, that's why another reason that you need to come, to Texas, and I'm going to shout out Austin for that because there is so much good food in that city, even just down to like the food trucks are amazing, like the diversity of food. And I've not had like a bad place in terms of like the food that I have gone to. It's all amazing. So,
Yeah, I'll make it to Houston again. I was in Houston for like one day, and I was very impressed by it. So I'll definitely make it back there eventually, and check out the sights and sounds and whatnot. But once again, thank you. Keep up the great work. I hope you get to expand more, outside of Texas and Louisiana. I hope you get to go to
yeah.
others other states, Florida, California. Hopefully, you get to go to New York. If you're coming over to New Jersey, I don't know if you're gonna come over to New York because New York is not that far from New York. It's like a train ride, less than probably 30 minutes away. But I
Yeah.
highly recommend you check out New York City. Times Square is pretty nice. The pizza is pretty cool here too as well. Lots of pizzerias, lots of things to check out.
Yeah.
Um, you
I'm
will
actually
not.
only in New Jersey for like a couple of like 2 nights, and it's for like I'm going to see a band. I'm like specifically going to see a band and then flying back to Austin. So I'm pretty busy when I come back because when I come over there this week, because New York is like a huge place, and if I go back there, I want to like take my time and see lots more stuff, because the few days that I was there before was like not enough time. So
Right, right, right. Well, yeah, you definitely gotta take your time when you come to New York, cause and even then, you're not gonna see everything like in like one day, maybe not even 1 week, but still, there's
yeah,
a lot of cool stuff to see as well. But yeah, once again, I wish you all the best,
thank
with
you.
where you're on the right path, in my opinion, and I got a feeling that we're gonna be seeing a lot more of you nationwide and possibly worldwide, with England and all that too. So
Uh, Thanks so much.
with that being said, y'all make sure you follow this young lady. She's doing a lot of great things. If you want some cosplay tips, hit her up. She might charge you, she might not. I don't know. But definitely follow her, and
I have a reasonable rate.
there you go. So yeah, definitely hit her up if you need any cosplay tips. And with that being said, it's about time to first shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Rob Bates, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Tommy to my Ghost. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out when your next appearances, purchase Rob Bates merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rob_Base82, and then Facebook Rob Base. And this Saturday, I'm going to be. I think I'm ring announcing for our wrestling school, Workhorse Wrestling Center. We're going to be in Houston, Delaware, at the Fire Hall. I believe it's free. Admission is free. You can come in. You just go in, watch some wrestling, support the young guys and gals. They're going to be kicking butt. In the future. So definitely, if you're around or whatever, you got a couple hours to kill, come on, check that out.
Awesome, that's cool. Y'all definitely, if you're in Houston, Delaware, any of the supporting areas, I mean surrounding areas, definitely check out that show. It's a free show. You don't have to pay anything. You just go there and just enjoy, some pro wrestling. And like I said, a lot of your 90% of your AEW, WWE superstars come from the indies. So you're getting a chance to see tomorrow's superstars today. I shouldn't quote OVW before they try to sue me, but you're going to be seeing tomorrow's superstars, possibly seeing tomorrow's superstars today, free of cost, as opposed to when they become superstars and you got to pay $100 for a nosebleed seat. So take advantage of it right now. It's a great opportunity. And also, with that being said, um, if this Saturday is actually WWE Extreme Rules, if you don't want to stay at home and watch the pay-per-view, the Jobberteers podcast, that's right. Sir Wilkins, Janelle from HR, Mr. Black, Izzy, and Dre, they're actually keeping a watch party in New York City at Legends Bar on West 33rd Street between 5th and 6th. So definitely go ahead and check that out as well too. You'll be able to, go there, chill, enjoy some food, you know, and also enjoy the pay-per-view with your fellow wrestling fans as well too. So definitely check it out, courtesy of Jobber Tears. I've been there several times. I'll try to make this one, and I guarantee you'll have a good time. And also, there's also a reality wrestling show as well too. Kathy said she'll be there at Saturday. If y'all see Kathy there, don't be shy. Say hi. Be careful though, because she's been known to do some outlandish stuff, like pick fights with people dressed up as the Road Warriors. She tried to handcuff me one time, and when I told her she was fired, and beat me with a nightstick, like Big Boss Man. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, Kathy will be there. Just say, and if you're at reality wrestling, you'll get to see her and whatnot, and you'll get to see some great wrestling there too. Well, enough of me rambling. If you want to find me on social media, not that I have anything cool to say these days, you can find me on Twitter at the Remy Blue. You can also find me on Instagram at the Remy Blue, and you can also find me on Facebook under the alias Remy Blue. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitch and Instagram at Rings. No, we're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Ringside Society. We're also on Facebook as a Facebook group. Just type in Ringside Society and you'll see us. We're on Spotify, and we're also on Teespring, where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts. We have long sleeve shirts for the cold weather. We also have hoodies. tank tops to show your muscles, and we even have coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So make sure you check out our store. Cop some merchandise. All proceeds go back into keeping this show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And last but not least, we also have a YouTube channel where you can find cool interviews like this one, like the one we did with Emily Taylor, Scott Bruce, Haley Danielle, Jacob King, many other great individuals in the world of professional wrestling. So all you got to do, go on YouTube, type in Ringside Society. Once you see that sweet dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, damn, that thing looks good. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our channels because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in tonight live. Really and truly appreciate it. For those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on, thank you very, when you get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish you'd go away. Well, like myself at the Golden Corral and Rob Bass at a taco festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well aware to everybody and their grandparents and their parents of a podcast. We're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for a commentator, backstage interviewer, referee, and ring announcer, the ever so incredible Lexi.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back this Friday with our WWE Extreme Rules predictions episode with special guest, the antagonist. But until then, we just want y'all to do 4 favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.